So, Bill, I've got to ask you one question. You and I sat together in Dallas at the draft, and you told me you're going to experiment with Elias Lindholm, with Johnny Gaudreau, and Sean Monahan. Seriously? And you haven't had to change it once yet. It's been pretty good. Why has it worked so well?
Yeah. Well, you know, it works on multiple levels. One of the big things is the face-off ability, especially Monty coming off wrist surgery. People, you know, forget that he had multiple surgeries in the offseason, and we wanted to limit that a little bit, the wear and tear on face-offs, and then obviously one guy being left-handed, one guy being right-handed. We're always on our strong side that way if they play together. And then Lindy can play center. He's a center by trade, so if he gets down low first, he can play 3-on-3 down low, allow Monty and Johnny to stay up higher in the zone, so there's no switch necessary there. And all good players, and they all complement each other real well.
Did you know that Johnny Gaudreau was this good, honestly?
No, I didn't. I hadn't seen him enough. Obviously, I was in the East. He was in the West. You see him twice a year if everything works out perfect, right? And I had no idea. I knew he was a good player. I knew he was dynamic. I knew he had unbelievable ability east-west with the puck, but I didn't know he was this creative and had the ability to hold on to pucks, to let plays develop. And I don't think anyone, if you haven't played with him or coached him, understands how competitive this young guy is. You
beat me to it. The word compete. I don't think he likes to lose a coin toss, does he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't like to lose at anything, and he's competitive. He wants to play. He wants to be on the ice. He wants to be a difference maker, and he is a difference maker. He's a very important piece for us as a team and as an organization, and he wants that responsibility, and he's really rounded his game out. Monty himself, too, defensively, taking a lot of pride in that end of the game, and it's helped him become more dangerous offensively also.
As a coach, can you explain how your team has a plus 36 differential in the third period, and what an advantage that is for your team?
Well, you know what? It's definitely a stat that we're aware of, and we'd like to be probably plus 25 in the first, second, and third would be a better way to go about winning on a consistent basis. But our guys dig in. Our guys know when the game's on the line, and they seem to buckle down and find a way to get it done. Whether it's defensively or offensively, we have enough skill that when we're down and we need to make a push, we can make a push. Our back end helps with that. We get our D in the rush when we can. Gio's one of those guys. Broads is a real good skater. And then Hanifin also obviously scored last night, a big goal, and got us a point. So you know what? When we're pushing for offense, typically we can find some grade A chances, and on good nights they go in.
You talked about losing to Buffalo. How much do you have to say to your team after a loss?
Oh, I don't go in after a loss. I never have. I learned that lesson in junior. A GM passed that along to me. It's best just to move on and look at the game with a good set of eyes in the morning. We liked our game against Buffalo. We were +2 on the specialty teams. We gave up 3 shots over the last 25.5 minutes. We gave up 2 in the third. Had some great A's. I thought their guy made some big saves, obviously, early and late. And then we had a 3-on-1 in overtime also. So a real good play by Eichel to end it. He's a dangerous guy. Obviously, we all know that. And we gave the wrong guy the wrong shot at the wrong time. But I liked our game for the most part. And if we play that way on a consistent basis, we'll be more than fine.
Can you, as a guy who coached in the Eastern Conference, coached against an Eastern Conference team against the Sabres, can you explain the difference between the East and the West?
Well, you know what? I'm not sure there's as big a difference as everyone thinks. It used to be when LA was winning cups and everyone talked about big and heavy, and then the other end of it was the dynamic quickness of teams. But I think there's teams that are big and heavy in both sides, and I think there's teams that skate and are dynamic on both sides too. So I do think there's some teams that play to a certain style and have a certain identity, but I think they're in both conferences, to be honest with you.
Okay, simple question. What's your identity?
Well, when we're playing well, we're a team that is good defensively. We're able to get up the ice. We get our D involved in the rush. We want to be dynamic in the offensive zone, but we don't want to open up in order to generate offense. So when we're playing well, we seem to have the puck a lot and a lot of zone time, and we'd like to get more pucks to the net. We haven't done a good enough job of that recently, so we would like to funnel more pucks to the net. But a committed group defensively and an intelligent group that knows the situation, and we have an awareness of the game.
You're #1 in the Pacific. You're #2 in the NHL when it comes to points. Getting pucks to the net is the one thing you need to improve on?
Well, you know what? There's a little bit of a quantity and quality debate you can have at any time, but I think we sometimes overpass the puck. I'd like to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more north-south, and reward some of those middle drivers and dot lane drivers, and reward them with rebounds. So I think we can have a focus here for the next little while about getting pucks to the net on a consistent basis, all 4 lines.
You have 3 more games before the All-Star break, and then you have your 5-day break. How worried are you about your team before you get back together and play that game in Washington?
Well, we're living in the now, the here and the now. We've got three games here. We've got a back-to-back coming up this weekend. We had a real good practice here today, so I like where we're at. We're going to concentrate on finishing strong going into the All-Star break. And then I know we'll sit down with management here before the break and we'll come up with a plan for our guys. But our guys have been through it. Everybody in the league has been through it. I think the guys understand the importance of looking after themselves through the break. It is unique to have that many days off, you know, in the middle of the season, but it is what it is, and it takes a certain level of maturity to handle it and come out on the other side proper.
The organization made a special announcement today. Number 12 will be retired, Jarome Iginla, the great forward for the Flames. How would you have liked to have had him in your lineup?
Well, I'd love to have had a Jarome himself, or a player like Jarome. He's a special player, that power forward, unbelievable ability to score, competed, great leader. You know, he just did it. He did it right. He's did it right from day one in Kamloops as a junior, all the way into the NHL, right to the end of his career. So, a special person, a special player, and it's going to be a fun night when they retire his number.
You talked about the upcoming games. You play Carolina 2 of your next 5. How special will those 2 games be for you?
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. You know what? There's some real good men in that locker room and good people in that organization. So get caught up with some people that you know and see some familiar faces. And it'll be unique, obviously, coming out of the break. We go Washington and then Carolina. So coming out of the break, you're never quite sure what you're going to have. Obviously, your team's not quite as sharp coming out of the break as you are going into it. So it'll be an interesting challenge for both teams.
Keep it up, Bill. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.